Ooh, ooh, we are
Ah,
back.
good
Oh my
morning.
goodness.
Ah,
Afternoon, evening,
wherever
wherever
you
you
are in the
are
world.
tuning in. Today is part 5 of this really, really deep and spacious ride that we have been on as we have been giving you this entirety of this month, all things wounded feminine. And it's really
Mm,
been a journey, you know. We open up about it and then we go into all these variety pack of aspects that can be found in the wound that is the wounded feminine. And today, in our part 5, the finale for now, we're gonna really open up this piece around isolation and or lone wolfing and or really I find it to be a shadow side of independence. And a lot of
mm,
the women out there, if you're listening, a lot of the people, wherever you're at, listening and tuning in, I think that it has become such a woven piece of our, honestly, DNA that has created the space of I must be independent. I must do it all by myself. There's no one else that can do it better than me. And in this, it is really creating the space of isolation, which is so saddening.
mm. It is sad. It's
Because I've
interesting
been
you
there.
bring that up, that it's sad.
My heart was just feeling into all the times. Honestly, I had like a flashback of all of the times in which I just cocooned and I went in. Like, I mean, like I'm even thinking last Thanksgiving. I don't know that I told anyone how absolutely ill I was. Like I was really sick, a horrible cold, you know. I didn't tell anyone, was in it by myself and my
Mm,
partner knew, you know. I'm thinking of all these times for myself and my heart's just like, oh, why? Because that's the place of
mm,
wounding. That's the place of fear to open up and be like, I need help. Or can you just listen? I'm really feeling alone on this.
mm. Yeah. It's, I mean, we know where it all comes from, but the reality is we've been programmed and conditioned that that level of vulnerability is dangerous. It is not safe because there are other wounded feminine energies that would pounce on that and attack. Um,
Mm.
and not just wounded feminine, wounded masculine as well. But like you can't show vulnerability because it's equated to weakness. You can't cry because it's equated to weakness. I literally had a client recently in the past few months say to me, I've never cried this much in my life. Like I just never have because it was always in my house like, hey, suck it up. Hey, you're not that hurt. It's not that bad. Like, go figure it out. Go handle it for yourself. What are you going to do? Just cry about it? It's not healthy to live that way and to be suffering in silence, basically. And sometimes resentment can build from that. Resentment can build when we see other women or other people not being silent, being vulnerable and sharing and getting the help and support that they need. And then there's some resentment like, hey, you know what I went through? I went through all this stuff by myself. And we wear it like a badge of honor. Like, it didn't take a team of people to help me with that. I did
Mm.
that by myself.
That's a
Why does
trigger
she need
spot.
all that help?
That's a
If the
for
truth
real
hurts,
trigger
say
spot. Oh
ouch.
my goodness.
Ah,
Go
it's
ahead.
real though. It's real.
So
And you know
real.
what?
I've been
That's
there, you know. I think and you
it's very real.
I've seen you on both sides of it. I've seen
It's
myself
real.
in times where I'm like, wow, I was so vulnerable right there. And look at how it was received. But then I'm on the flip side of
Right.
like, why are you always asking for all this help? You're getting all of this help. I'm over here. Like, do you even know what I'm doing? Do you know what I'm up
Right.
to?
Right.
It's that resentment piece
It's
where it's
that.
like,
It's that.
ooh,
Because you, for
oh,
crying out
hard.
loud, you cannot be a damsel in distress. Oh no. And it's like, wait a
Oh,
minute. Who said I have
oh,
to be a damsel in distress who needs rescuing?
distress,
I
distress.
am not in distress and need rescuing. Maybe I just
Mm,
need you to listen, to see me, to meet me where I am, to remind me that I'm not alone. Everybody goes through this stuff. Like this is part of the human condition. But we bring such ugh to it. No wonder we clam up. We're like, forget it. I'll just do it on my own. Or like you said, oh, I have a VA or I have teammates that could really support me and help me, but nobody could really do it as quickly or as effectively as I could. And by the time I teach them and train them, I could have just done it myself. Guilty. Um,
oh, you and I have
yeah.
talked about that a whole bunch. I mean, that's like the day when I brought on Bailey, and we have Braidley, our beautiful support team here with Still. There's been a lot that, yeah, we thank you, ladies, because
I know. Thank
there's
you for being
a
patient with us.
constant, yeah, it's the constant release of control, which I think is also tied to isolation. But there was something you said that I wanted to, it came in honestly this week around like, it is this trained mythology of ourself to, I'm going to stay in isolation because like I'm a work in progress. And this came to me this week because I've talked about this, I guess, in other places, but I don't know if I've shared with y'all. I've had this neck thing for 6 months now where it was on my left side, it was on my right side. Like it's a chronic thing. I'm doing all of the pieces to support her, but um, I haven't worked out. And by working out means like lifting weights. And it came for me, and it came in this week of like, oh, I think I've only shared with you two sisters and another sister, like, okay, I'm recommitting to this 4 times a week. And last week I got 4 times in. This week I'm already one. So I have 3 more to go. But I'm not sharing it like outward. I haven't shared it. I'm sharing it now because I think this is the place of like, why do we go into hiding while we're in the process of it? Because that's not the place that we want to showcase. So I'm going inside until what? Until my body's at a place like I don't have the tricep flap anymore. And then I'm going to be like, y'all look, ooh, boom. Cause I've been going to the gym now for 6 months in a row.
Woman, if you
You
don't get
know
off
what?
my toes, you are so stepping on my toes right now. Ouch. Yes, yes to all of that. We are also programmed and conditioned to in the words of how I grew up, to always be publicly appropriate. So that doesn't
A
mean
hundred.
coming out when you're not in perfection, in the best light, all of that. And so, yeah, we hide. Well, I'm just going to do the things. I'm going to heal my neck. And then when I come out, you'll see. And then I'll tell my story. But I'm going to leave out like
Of
the
how
key
I healed the
ingredient
neck.
of the story. I'm going to tell you about it, but you won't get to witness that. And that's usually the part, I don't know if you feel
Mm.
this, Jill, but that's usually the part when we share it that starts the healing for someone. And they go, you mean I don't have to be completely put together all the time? Like I can be in my state of whatever I'm in, and that can be supportive to other people as well. And oh, by the way, it might call in some help for me so a resentment
Mm.
doesn't build. And then we don't go down that whole spiral. Here's the other thing, too, Jill. Um, y'all let me know if this is just me or a few of the women I've been talking to lately. Isolation, yes, from all the programming and conditioning that we talked about, and also as a function of shame. Hmm. So, in these conversations I've been having lately, yes, with lots of clients, but also just in different sister circles, isolating because of shame. I'm ashamed to really let you know that I don't really have it all together. And so while I want to be in the sister circle and I want to show up to support someone because I'm going through my thing and I feel some sort of shame that I should have it together by now, or I'm so spiritually awakened, I should be farther along and not frustrated with this, I can't really show up. So I isolate. I don't show up to the sister circle calls. I don't show up in the group chat, whatever it is, or I just don't show up. I'm not visible in my business because I'm working with an iPhone and some earbuds and that's all I have, but I'm ashamed to tell people, or I'm not showing up in whatever the thing is that you really
Yeah.
want to be in because you're ashamed of circumstances. And what we've been taught is that it's not the circumstance, Jill or Stacè, fill in the blank. It's you. It's you. You're the thing to be ashamed of. And it's like, no, not only do I not have to be ashamed of myself, I also don't have to be ashamed of any circumstances that are presenting themselves right now. And we
Mm,
don't give a lot of room for women. I'm just speaking about women right now. We don't give a lot of room for women to feel comfortable to come out and say, I don't have it like that. I just don't. And it not be a thing. Like, what? But you're 40. You've already worked in corporate forever. How come you don't have the money to go to lunch with all of us? What? You don't have this? You need to go get that mic if you're going to be on a podcast. What? You don't have these clothes? This is how a goddess dresses. I'm making this stuff up for sake of this conversation. But the reality is, everything I just shared, yeah, they're all stories that I'm hearing from women, real life women I know and I'm talking to all the time. Is it just me and the women I'm talking to? That's what I want to know. Or is shame really another root that sprouts out isolation?
yeah. Yeah. I'm so grateful you bring in shame because I've seen the like prong from the shame. If you're watching us over on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, we like to make hand gestures. So the prong from shame is I'm also wondering, because this is very true for me, is the fear of loss of what I already have worked so hard to build. And what I'm
Yeah.
referring to in this comes up with a lot of my clients that are up to the the vision that's been on their heart. And when they start to step into it, and I've walked through this myself, is there's that realm between your day-to-day living, meaning whatever is the job or the role that you might hold in an
Mm-hmm.
organization, and the fear of losing what you've worked so hard to build in that, while
Mm.
sharing this passion, this purpose that's been on your heart. This has been the biggest one.
Mm.
And I slowly started to do it. And years ago in previous corporate role. And now, there's the space that is LinkedIn that has been dedicated for this place of professionalism and all of these things. Whereas it's really starting to become a blend. But I just noticed this isolation on certain platforms for fear of losing what you've worked so hard for. And oh my gosh, if so and so, my colleague, would know this, or if someone finds out this,
Right.
then it's going to be judgment and, oh, well, you're not focused here,
Mm.
or all of these other things that have come in. And for me and just like my life, and then the other women I'm talking to, like that one. And then you have shame, like they're both equally just like, oh, it is like a house
Yeah.
on your heart.
Yeah, it is all consuming. It is suffocating. Listen, I thank you for bringing that up. I am speaking from complete experience. I know that I used to be the queen of compartmentalized living. Nobody was going to know outside of my corporate stuff what I was doing. Absolutely
Mhm.
not. Absolutely, because of exactly what you're saying. Oh, you're not focused. Or even if it was not that, because there were many men in the workplace who could share their avid passion for tennis, for golf, for reading, like for whatever the outside things were, whatever their passions were, and it was applauded. I saw so many women get raked over the coals for sharing about the wholeness of their lives. If it wasn't about their kids or something like that, that was acceptable. But it was still like, how are you going to have time to get all this done if you're going to soccer and doing all the things? Yeah, that's still there. But anything outside of what was, I would say, perceived as the obligations of life, yeah, it was unacceptable, and you were really treated poorly. And so I learned very quickly. I think I was 23. Yeah, because I wasn't yet 25. Yeah, I think I was 23 when that message got implanted, programmed, conditioned, message received, got it. Do not share. So this compartmentalized living for me was a way to protect myself. It put me in isolation. You
Yeah,
are
which is
not going to
isolation.
know
Right.
anything about
Right.
like the whole of me. You'll know that I used to cheer, I used to dance, I used to sing. Like I'll always say used to. They
Mm.
didn't know like this is happening right now. I'm going to a
Isn't it
studio after
exhausting?
this and
It's
I'm going to sing.
exhausting.
I'm going to try out for this. I'm going to be in this group.
Yeah,
Shout out to my past life. But
it's
it is that
exhausting.
fear of losing because
Yeah.
you're always constantly proving you belong there, proving you're good enough, proving that you're credible enough, proving. And so in that proving, it feels like you're compromising everything you've worked so hard for if you share. Oh, and I'm also whatever else. I'm also a spiritual guide. I'm also a
Claiming it,
dance teacher,
just
whatever
claiming
it
it.
is.
I
Oh
think
my gosh.
this is really looping and like just to we'll like bowing this up here. The beautiful bow. So you mentioned like you'd said way earlier on about being witnessed. And I think this is beautiful. We're talking about shame and then the fear of loss when we actually do come out of isolation and say, this is who I am. This is what I'm up to. I
Mm-hmm.
love doing this. I'll tell you from my experience, the liberation is incredible,
Yeah.
to literally be like, hey, I know in whatever role, organization, corporation, wherever you find yourself, to offer yourself. I have done this multiple times of, hey, I know we're planning this. I know we have this sales function or we have XYZ happening. If you would like to build in some meditation space, I'm happy to offer my services. And this is where then it's we are being one in service
Yeah.
to our highest gifts. But the
Yeah.
piece I want to come back to is around this being witnessed.
Mm,
Um, because when we are in isolation, it can become like, how do we even get out? It feels like there's so many folds to the cloth. And this is where y'all will hear us chat a lot because we are licensed teachers of this work that is Ishtara.
yeah.
Um, and you can go to ishtarabody.com to find more. And because I've found some folks, so it's ISHTARA. This has been a funny thing of what are you saying? The being witnessed. I, for the first time, understand now because of being in this work for coming up on almost 2 years, the absolute importance of being witnessed in our
Yeah.
vulnerability, in
Yeah.
just a capacity of no words are needed, the transmission of the energy of the emotion to be seen and held by an intimate group of others, and then reflected back
Right.
what was actually transformed and alchemized in this, what is a moving meditation practice, in our rise, when we then go into the rise and the repatterning of this deep wound. So even if it's not Ishtara that you all maybe search out, I think being witnessed by a coach, a guide, a group, women's circle, men's circle, it's life-changing.
It's important. It's crucial. We don't fully heal in isolation. We heal in relationship with others. That's where the real healing happens.
Intimacy. It's the lack. It's the
intimacy.
Oh,
because we have to be safe. And when you find those safe places, and we each get to make a commitment to be a safe place, not working from the wounded feminine, but we get to step up and be able to say, hey, look, it seems like you're going through something. I'm here. No judgment, nothing. You don't even need words. I can't tell y'all how many times Jill and I will message each other and there are no words. It's just we're expressing the rage, the frustration, the sadness, the fear. I don't need to hear the words to then witness what she's experiencing. She doesn't need to hear the words to witness what I'm experiencing. We know sadness when we hear it, sense it, feel it. We know fear. We know these emotions. We know them. We get to find those safe places so that more like we need to be a movement. That's what we need to be. We need to be a movement.
We are this. Come join us. Come join us.
This is what Still is for. We are a community. This is a movement to break down all of those barriers. Let's be a bridge for one another. Please. We get to be fully human. Oh my gosh, we're whole humans. And we get to be witnessed in the human condition without judgment, without blame, without shame.
Wow. Also, getting to be honored for the spiritual gifts that have innately been placed in these human vessels.
Yes, absolutely.
That absolutely too, all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's been some recent spiritual awakenings in myself recently at our retreat with Ishtara, and I was like, because that can be scary too. And I very easily could have went into isolation of these are things coming through. What? And I've worked diligently, as you have, Stacey, to cultivate the people in my life that can witness, because the isolation did not serve my ultimate heart's desire of really craving intimacy. The into me you see, we all know that.
Intimacy. Ooh. Absolutely. So true. So true. And I mean, look, I don't know about everybody else, but from what I'm hearing from the rest of our Ishtara teachers from our graduation retreat, we're still processing exactly what happened there. I'm talking about immense and intense cleansing, purging, healing, repatterning, just incredible, right? So yeah, we have that. And that's a safe space for us to be in that. We've cultivated that. We've created that, co-created that together. Thank you, Tracy Harward. Here's the other thing though, and you and I both know this to be true. You do need to operate with discernment with where you're showing up to be vulnerable and to completely be witnessed and reflected. Because in the wounded feminine, this is how the cycle keeps repeating, because we decide that just because that person has been your best friend since you were 4, that you can just, here it all is. They may not know how to hold you. It doesn't mean they don't love you, they don't care, but you may hear things like, girl, you're crazy. What are you talking about? That's just stupid. Like, why are you even worried about that? Or what? You got what spiritual gift? Yeah, okay, whatever. And it's not coming from a place of malicious intent most of the time, but it may not be safe for you in that moment. because that's not the witnessing you need when you're sharing at that level of vulnerability. So, yes, use your discernment, use your discretion, because what can happen is that you'll share and say, yes, I'm willing to be seen and to be witnessed. And it's just not with the appropriate group or person. And all the backlash comes. And then your subconscious says, see,
Told you.
that's why we do everything on our own. That's why we keep everything to ourselves, because our brains will go and search for evidence of the belief that we have held for so long. That's what she does. And when we decide, I'm going to have a new belief, we get to put ourselves in situations where that belief can get anchored and saying it is safe for me to be seen. It is safe for me to be vulnerable. And then the brain will start scanning to find evidence to support that belief. But we do need to use our discernment. We're
I
not
love
saying
that.
everybody run outside like, let me tell all my stuff. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Everybody can't go with you where you're going. Everybody is not at your level. And that's okay. With love, you can just release them from the expectation you had of them being able to hold you.
Yeah.
They just can't
Mm.
right now, and it's okay. But we do get to recognize the wounded feminine when she shows up and recognize that's just wounded feminine behavior and energy. It doesn't mean that my belief is wrong, that I shouldn't be vulnerable, that I don't deserve to be seen and witnessed, and I shouldn't share, and that I should go isolate. The two are not the same. So,
Yeah.
just a note,
I think that's
caveat
a
in sharing.
beautiful. No, I love this. I love that I feel this feels complete. This part 5 feels complete on also the always forever sovereignty that each of you hold as we are just navigating this space. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know how you loved this little series, this mini series, 5-part piece, which we could have kept going, but we're closing. We're
We're
closing on this part
closing.
5
We're
for the wounded feminine.
closing.
Thank you all for being with us. And
Oh, wait.
we
One
will,
more thing, one more thing, one more
yeah,
thing.
yes.
Our launch date was Lionsgate, August 8th. We have been at this for a couple of months now, and I know Jill feels the same way. We are in such deep gratitude for the growth in our community and for all of you subscribing and liking and sharing and commenting to us individually, personally, dropping us voice notes, DMing us, sharing with us. It's so, so wonderful to be in this kind of community with you. And we so appreciate you being along for the ride and for witnessing us and for holding us. We love,
Yeah.
love,
Yes.
love having you with us. So we're just incredibly grateful, and we thank you for the opportunity to come and talk to you about this really big topic, the wounded feminine, for this whole mini series. Let us know if you like this style, like mini series style on different topics, and there's a lot that we could create mini series things for. So let us know if you like this style. I like it. It feels good. It feels like we get to complete thoughts, bring things to full completion or full circle. And from the comments that we're getting, it feels like you like it. So let's hear more about that. So yeah, just wanted to express our love and our gratitude for each
A
of
little
you.
love,
Thank you.
a little big love,
Little
a little
love
big love
bomb.
to all of you. We'll
Yes,
see
yes,
you all next
yes.
week. Mwah.
Mwah.